Okay, so tell me a little bit about just generally what does adaptive swimming look like compared to like regular swimming in general?
Great question. And thank you for having me today. Um, I started this business, Nurturing Water Therapies, about 9 years ago, almost 10 years ago. And hold on, I'm having technical difficulties. There we go. I started this business about 9 years ago, and at the time when I started, I was mostly working with adults, people with more physical challenges, people who had chronic pain, who really saw a lot of relief being in the water. And over the years, the focus has remained there, but we also have really focused a lot on people with behavioral or sensory or more neurodivergent kids. And they've shown the leading cause of death of kids on the autism spectrum is drowning. And so we get a lot of pediatricians and folks who forward information to us so that we can help teach water safety to some of these kids. But for aquatic therapy and for therapeutic exercise and adaptive swim lessons, we really do, everything we do is one-on-one. The pool that we're at has a ramp and waterproof wheelchairs. So it makes it really easy. People can transfer we have a Hoyer even, so people can transfer into a waterproof wheelchair and easily, and I'll help them get into the pool. And then we put a neck collar on. For some people, getting their heart rate up and getting a good workout is what the goal is. For some people who have a lot of chronic pain, the goal might be just to relax in warm water. And for some people, it might be to stretch out. People that have more spastic muscles who need that warm water to just relax and focus on breathing, focus on relaxing your arms or legs. For some people, it's building strength and using weights and different flotations and stuff to build that strength and to work on core strength and arm and leg strength. For some people, it's motor planning and coordination. And we've got lots of people that are having to learn how to relearning how to walk, who have been in wheelchairs for, or using walkers and putting ankles on or weights on their ankles and going into the water. And it helps them stay more balanced and they're able to walk around in the water. So everything we do is one-on-one, and we really customize each session to meet the needs of whatever that person needs. But our focus, a lot of times people come in with a lot of chronic pain, and so our focus is to minimize that pain, to enhance your heart rate, to enhance your cardio, to help strengthen, the muscles and really try and meet whatever goals it is that you're working towards.
Mm-hmm. My next question is, tell me a little bit about what your organization is doing to get more people with disabilities to swim, because obviously it has a ton of benefits.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. What was the question?
The question was, tell me a little bit about what your organization is doing to get more people with disabilities to swim, because it provides a lot of benefits for them.
Right. Right. We are we're doing I've done a lot of online similar things like this, talking about the benefits of water safety, educating different services and different community members about the importance of learning water safety, the importance of being in the water. Just this podcast, I think a lot of people aren't aware that there is aquatic therapy out there. and there are physical therapists and there's occupational therapists that are in the water working with both kids and adults. And the benefits are enormous. It really, it's the highlight of everybody that I work with. It's the highlight of their week is being able to come to the pool and focus on whatever their goals are for that week.
Mm-hmm. My next question is, when it comes to teaching a person with a disability how to swim, what tools and strategies do you use to allow that person to swim, based on whatever needs or conditions they may have? Because obviously people have different needs. So,
Sorry, we're breaking up, so I'm not able to hear everything you just said. I apologize.
yeah, I was
Would you
asking
mind repeating that
when
one
it
more
comes to
time?
teaching a person with a disability how to swim, what tools and strategies do you use to allow that person to swim, based on their needs? Because obviously people have different needs and that need to be tailored. Because obviously people with disabilities are different, and so they have different ways of sort of learning how to swim in the water. You know what I mean?
Yes, I absolutely do. And we are fortunate enough to be, well, we're at 3 different locations, so we're able to serve a wider amount of individuals. And at each of the locations, we have a lot of equipment that we use. And again, we use different equipment for everybody. So it really depends. If we've got someone that's wheelchair bound that is coming in, we will often get a neck collar and kind of an aqua jogger or a belt that they can put around their waist so that they can comfortably float on their back. And we can work on some techniques to help strengthen their both passive and having them independently use their body to stretch out and work on strength and balance and all of that. Um, yeah, so we do have a number of different both flotation devices and weighted devices, both used to help with balance and strengthening each individual.
Hmm. My next question is, what are the particular stakeholders involved in, this process of getting, people with disabilities to swim? Like, does does that make sense?
Yeah, so right now, there aren't very many available pools that are actually, there's only one in Greater Seattle that I know of, and it's in Bellevue. It's at the Bellevue Aquatic Center that is designed specifically for people with disabilities who need to enter using a lift or a wheelchair. And so one stakeholder that we've partnered with is a nonprofit called Splash Forward, and they have done a lot of work in partnering with the city of Bellevue to try and get funding and expand what we have already to a much larger, much more accessible facility down the road. And so that's something that I'm hoping that will happen here in the near future.
Hmm. My next question is, what impact does adaptive swim lessons have, not just on the individual, learning how to swim, but also the community at large?
Great question. I mean, my hope for the individual is, I work with a lot of people that we work on walking, we work on balance, we work on side steps, and being able to get, we work on squatting and sitting down and standing up. And there's being able to transfer, being able to step out of your, transfer from your chair to the couch or something like that. Those are skills that we can work on in the water, and we really do work on in the water. And so having the ability to go into the community and be a part of the community and have the confidence to be able to, step over the curb to get groceries or be able to transfer, into a chair at, whatever. Those are the skills that we're working on in the water that we can use outside of the water. So I think it really expands someone's ability to be a part of the community and be more engaged in the community. Because hopefully we are helping reduce the pain levels, giving them the tools that they need to be able to be more independent outside of the pool and outside of in their own communities.
Hmm. My last question is, how can adaptive swimming make a difference in the lives, of people with disabilities? Because it's like we talked about a lot. It's so important and just kind of on a general basis, how can it sort of, lead them to more independent live outcomes, I guess, because we talked about the benefits and how it provides a lot of strength and all that kind of stuff. So, but on a general basis, um, how can it sort of lead to a bit positive outcomes for them?
Honestly, the first one that comes to mind is water safety. Being able, whoever you are, whatever your ability is, being able to understand and having some tools. If you were to fall into water somewhere, what do you do? And how can you save yourself? What are some simple techniques that you can do in the water to save yourself? Like I said, again, the leading cause of death by 91% for kids that are on the autism spectrum is drowning. And so I feel like we are in the business that we're doing, we're saving lives every day. And beyond the importance of water safety, being able to increase mobility, being able to decrease pain. Another component is mental health. I mean, we talk a lot about mental health, especially in the community. People are disabled, and a lot of mental health comes pain and frustration, and I mean, there's so much. And being able to get in the water and get a good workout and get it really impacts mental health. I mean, it really is a highlight for so many people. We've worked with people that, have had strokes, that are affected on one side, that, or that have whatever. I mean, there's a wide range of different, and being able to use the adaptive tools that we have to be able to swim or even snorkel or walk even, or do some even jogging in the water when they're not able to walk on land is pretty awesome. So those are our goals for our clients.
Hmm. Yep.